WTO is associated with long talks, various tariffs, customs quotas, imports and exports, as well as other terms which our consumers sometimes do not understand. The task of the WTO market is to break all the barriers between the buyers and the sellers, because we know everything about the prices. Nutrition habits and preferences are changing throughout the world. In 2012, the total amount of produced fish for the first time exceeded the output of beef, 66 million tons against 63 million during the same period of time. Moreover, analysts state that in the same year the world fishery production for the first time exceeded the amount of fish caught in seas and oceans. The demand for animal proteins is growing all over the world, and the production process of fish is much simpler than of beef. And what about Kazakhstan? Does the local population consume more fish products after the country's accession to the WTO? Watch in the upcoming 10 minutes. Fish ranks second after oil. How much fish does Kazakhstan export to other countries? Euro standards and Euro numbers. Why fish producers were ready for Kazakhstan's accession to the WTO. People of Kazakhstan do not eat much fish. Each person consumes on the average 11 kilograms of fish products annually. It is lower than the worldwide average level, which makes up 19 kilograms and twice as lower as in Europe and in the US. This is due to the fact that the menu of many Kazakhstani residents does not include enough fish. Fish crops of Kazakhstan, a landlocked country, are also not very high. Nonetheless, fish accounts for a significant portion of the Kazakhstani export structure, and in 2014, the amount of fish products sold abroad was the second highest after oil products. So how did enterprises of Kazakhstan achieve such results? You will know about that from the following story. While creating the Agro-Business 2020 program, Kazakhstan set a goal to increase the fish crop 15 times within the period of 7 years. Currently, the country is actively exporting its fish and fish products. In 2010, exports of fish and fish products in Kazakhstan reached its peak and made up almost 28.5 thousand tons, which amounts to $96.5 million. In 2014, exports reached 20.5 thousand tons, amounting to $77.5 million. In 2015, the amount of exported fish exceeded 20,000 tons at the cost of $50 million.
Подводя итоги первого квартала 2016 года.
Summing up the results of the first quarter of 2016, I would like to say that exports of fish products in Kazakhstan increased in comparison with the first quarter of 2015 and made up $10 million. We hope that by the end of this year, exports of Kazakhstani fish products will surpass all previous results and reach its peak. Kazakhstan has 128 fish processing enterprises. More than 50 of them are active. Most of them have been manufacturing fish products according to international standards for many years and have international certificates called Euro numbers. It can therefore be concluded that fish producers in Kazakhstan were prepared for the country's accession to the WTO. In Europe, in particular in Poland, in Germany and in Lithuania, there is a high demand for our products. We export our fish to more than 20 countries. Most of them are European.
Большая часть – это Европа.
The state actively supports the fishing industry. The Damu Fund allows soft credits to entrepreneurs. National Export and Investment Agency Kazakh Invest organizes for producers free participation in special exhibition and invites trade delegations. For example, 2 large fish-producing companies in eastern Kazakhstan region were presented to a major Polish distributor which was interested in our products. As a result, a contract for delivery of domestic fish products to the amount of almost $2 million was signed. More than 80% of fish exported by Kazakhstan are frozen pike perches. This is a non-expensive product of mass consumption. Pike perch as well as other fish are produced in Kazakhstan for domestic consumption. For example, a fish farm in Almaty region grows trout and sturgeons, especially for supermarkets and restaurants. We produce about 25 tons of fish. In general, the output of a fish farm can reach 50 tons. For our market, even 25 tons is enough. It is quite difficult to expand the production. One of the reasons is the problem of delivery. Trout is a fish which is very difficult to store. It cannot be frozen several times and can be transported only at small distances. In addition, the feed for almost all the fish produced in Kazakhstan is purchased in Europe. In coastal countries, prices depend on evidential factors. Among them are the amount of caught fish and changes in numbers of certain species due to climatic patterns. Those who live too far from seas and oceans have to pay much more for saltwater fish. Economists believe that fish breeding is much more profitable than ordinary fishing. This is especially the case of rare species such as trout. The fish reaches a portion size during 7 to 8 months. However, at first a significant investment is needed for the equipment of the pond where fish will be grown, as well as for purchasing of juvenile fish. Apart from these costs, up to 50% of fish price will depend on feeding. Another 20% is the cost of electricity, because water for expensive fish always needs to be enriched with oxygen by means of complex electrical units. At least 20% is needed for equipment maintenance and salaries for employees. 10% more is possible losses, such as mass fish mortality. A certain percentage is added to personal profit. In total, the wholesale price makes up 1,750 to 2,000 tenge. Countries export mainly frozen fish. The world top exporters are China, the US, Russia and Norway. The total consumption of imported frozen fish exceeds the consumption of domestically produced fish. As for Kazakhstan, the country imports frozen fish and exports mainly fish fillets. At the same time, it should be remembered that fresh fish is much better for health than frozen. Fish is a product with a short shelf life. It begins to spoil just after it was taken out from the water. In order to assess the quality of a fresh fish, it should be carefully inspected. Firstly, its eyes should be clear and protrude over its head. Cloudy and sunken eyes are a characteristic of a perished product. Secondly, gills should have pink or bright red color and by no means dark and gray. We can also scale a fish. Scales should be dense and the peeling should require certain effort. And here is one more experiment. In order to determine whether a fish is fresh, we can put it into a big bowl with water. A fresh fish will sink and a spoiled one will stay afloat. Many analysts call tilapia the most popular fish in the world. This can be explained by the fact that it inhabits almost all the seas. Tilapia is highly adaptable in various environments and its life does not depend on temperature differences and the amount of oxygen in water. Tilapia breeds its offsprings in its mouth. In such a way, it creates the maximum protection against harmful environmental effects. Cod and tuna have also been included into the top 5 of most popular fish. The world top fish producers are China, Indonesia and India. However, most of fish is consumed within these countries and mainly frozen fish is intended for export. The principal exporters of frozen fish are China, Russia and Japan. The highest proportion of exported frozen fish per capita is in Norway and Iceland. The demand for fish in the European region is estimated at $25 billion annually. Among CIS countries, the stable demand for fish demonstrate Ukraine, Belarus, Kyrgyzstan and Azerbaijan. The tendency towards the expansion of live fish exports is observed all over the world. No doubt that it is healthier than other types of fish products. However, the problem lies with its transportation. For that end, special containers aquariums capable of maintaining a certain water temperature are required. The amount of live fish delivery to Kazakhstan is also growing despite large distances. Over the last 5 years, it increased 10 times. I wish you economic and quality purchases.